artists who tricked the music industry and got rich doing it. What if some of the biggest artists didn't break the system? They learned how to outsmart it. The music industry has always had rules, contracts, labels, and control over artists' work. But some artists found smart ways to work around those rules. In this video, we'll explore real examples of artists who changed the game, protected their value, and built success on their own terms. Why you should keep watching. By the end of this video, you'll understand how the music industry works behind the scenes, how some artists manage to take back control, and what lessons you can learn from their decisions. These stories are not just about music. They're about strategy, ownership, and thinking differently. Understanding the system first. Before we talk about the artists, let's understand the system. Traditionally, record labels controlled almost everything. They funded albums, handled promotion, and owned the recordings. In return, artists often signed contracts that gave away a large portion of their rights. This included masters, which are the original recordings of songs. Owning masters means owning the music itself. Without ownership, artists may earn less from their own work over time. This system worked for decades. But some artists started to question it. Taylor Swift, reclaiming her music. Let's start with one of the most well-known examples. Taylor Swift signed a traditional record deal early in her career. But later, the ownership of her early albums became a major issue. Instead of accepting the situation, she made a bold decision. She began re-recording her old albums. These new versions are often labeled as Taylor's version. By doing this, she created new masters that she owns. Fans supported this move, and many started streaming the new versions instead of the old ones. This strategy may not have been common before, but it showed that artists can find creative ways to regain control.
There's a different vocabulary for men and women in the music industry, right?
Give me an example.
Okay, a man does something, it's strategic. A woman does the same thing, it's calculated. A man is allowed to react, a woman can only overreact.
And you've had these labels thrown at you.
Oh yeah, it goes on and on and on.
Did you know artists don't always own their own songs? Chance the Rapper, staying independent. Next is Chance the Rapper. He took a very different path. Instead of signing with a major label, he stayed independent. He released music for free on platforms like streaming services. At first, this may seem risky, but it helped him build a loyal audience. He earned money through touring, partnerships, and streaming deals. His success showed that artists don't always need a traditional label to succeed.
And you got yours.
It did kind of work like that. Me and my wife went to the spot, and we bought each other's rings. So she got mine. I was gonna get a.
Independence can be a powerful option if done carefully. Prince, fighting for ownership. Long before streaming, Prince was already challenging the system. He had disagreements with his record label over control and ownership. At one point, he even changed his name to a symbol. This was his way of stepping outside contractual limits tied to his original name. He also publicly spoke about artist rights. While his approach was unusual, it brought attention to an important issue.
I can finish it for her. Oh, what was your earliest inspiration, she's asked? That was
I was discussing this with Larry today. We were just discussing the word inspiration and where we think
Ownership matters. Jay-Z, building a business empire. Jay-Z didn't just focus on music. He expanded into business. He co-founded companies, launched streaming services, and invested in different industries. One example is Tidal, a music streaming platform focused on artist ownership. Instead of depending only on record deals, he built multiple income streams.
You two are unique. Even though you're in different spheres, you've reached a level of success almost legendary. What did you do? What made you different? Warren, we'll start with you because they're investing. There are a lot of bright people. They've all claimed to read Graham and Dodd.
This approach helped him gain more control over his work and finances. If you were an artist, would you choose a big label or stay independent? Frank Ocean, a strategic release. Frank Ocean used a very smart strategy. He released one album to fulfill his contract with a label. Then, shortly after, he released another album independently. This allowed him to complete his deal and then take full control of his next project. It was a calculated move that gave him both freedom.
Beach, and we moved around a little bit. When I was like 5.5, I was in New Orleans, and different. I had my first Christmas out there, different, hurricane seasons.
And ownership. Kanye West, speaking out about contracts. Kanye West has often spoken about artist rights and contracts, especially when it comes to ownership and control. Over the years, he has shared parts of his own agreements publicly. His goal seemed to be raising awareness about how these contracts work behind the scenes. For many people, music contracts can feel complex and difficult to understand. By making parts of his deals visible, he helped start conversations that may not have happened otherwise. Some people agreed with his approach, while others felt it was too public or unexpected. Either way, it brought attention to an important topic. His actions also encouraged other artists to look more closely at what they sign. Instead of rushing into deals, more musicians are now taking time to understand the terms, ask questions, and sometimes seek legal advice. This shift may help artists protect their work and make better long-term decisions. While not everyone will take the same path, his efforts showed that speaking up can sometimes lead to change.
Ye's X account was suspended back in December after he posted an image that appeared to show a Haken cross, the Nazi symbol, interlaced with the Star of David, a symbol of Judaism.
Even small awareness can make a difference over time. What these artists have in common. Even though their strategies were different, these artists share a few key ideas. They understood the system. They questioned traditional rules. They looked for alternative paths. They focused on ownership and long-term value. They didn't always break the system. Sometimes, they simply used it differently. 9. Why this matters beyond music. This idea goes beyond the music industry. It's really about how systems work in general. Every field has its own rules. Business has strategies and structures. Content creation has platforms and algorithms. Careers have expectations and paths people usually follow. When you understand these rules, you can make better decisions. You don't just react, you think ahead. You start to see patterns. And that helps you avoid common mistakes. For example, someone in business may choose slow, steady growth instead of quick profit. A content creator may focus on building trust instead of chasing views. An employee may invest time in learning skills instead of only aiming for short-term rewards. This doesn't mean the usual path is wrong. It can work well for many people. But it's not the only option. Sometimes, thinking differently can open new doors. It can help you find opportunities others may not notice. It can also give you more control over your time, work, and direction. In the end, it often comes down to a simple question. What matters more to you? Quick success now or long-term control later? The industry is slowly changing. Today, the music industry is evolving. Streaming platforms, social media, and direct-to-fan models are giving artists more options. Labels still play a big role, but artists now have more choices than before. They can negotiate better deals. They can build audiences independently. They can protect their work more carefully. Then verse now. Let's simplify it. Before, labels had most control. Limited distribution options. Artists depended heavily on contracts. Now, more platforms available. Direct connection with fans. Greater awareness of ownership. The system didn't disappear. It adapted. A balanced view. It's important to stay realistic. Not every artist can or should avoid labels. For some, labels provide resources, promotion, and support. The goal is not to reject the system completely. The goal is to understand it and make informed choices. Final thoughts. So, did these artists really trick the music industry? Not exactly. They understood it. They adapted. And they made decisions that worked in their favor. Their stories show that success is not only about talent. It's also about awareness, strategy, and timing. If you found this breakdown helpful, you might enjoy more videos that explain how industries really work behind the scenes. You can like the video if it gave you a new perspective, And if you enjoy simple, clear explanations like this, consider subscribing. You may also want to watch the next video on your screen. It connects closely to what we discussed. See you in the next video.